Make sure everyone gets their Martinelli apologies in order immediately.
Against this right back, Charlie, definitely.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Man. Come on. People deluded, I'm back again. Obviously, we've finally completed the mission against Real Madrid. We've got Shirley in the building. How you doing, my friend?
Oh, I can't hear you. Cut out.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. What did you say?
I said, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
How am I doing? I'm doing phenomenal. Yeah. I'm doing phenomenal. How are you?
I'm great, man. You know, I'm used to Arsenal winning the games that are unimportant and things like that, but I'm sure we'll get into it. Are you gonna say sorry to Martinelli though? Like we gotta address the elephant in the room immediately.
I knew this was gonna be how you started. I knew you were gonna just look. I don't even think it's a matter of saying sorry. The guy had a good game.
Can't be wrong and strong, man.
It's not about wrong and strong. I wasn't wrong. What I wanted from Martinelli is what I wanted from Martinelli, and he needed to deliver that. And yesterday he was much better, and he got the goal. Brilliant goal. Just brilliant goal all round. Brilliant pass from Marino, absolutely brilliant. And that goal from Martinelli was just that's where you want. That's where you want Martinelli. When you see Martinelli through on goal on his own, you know what time it is. Like 9 times out of 10, he's gonna finish and he's gonna score that goal. So when I saw him through in that position, I was excited, and you know he scored just a nice way to round up a solid demolition of Real Madrid, really and truly. There's so much to say.
There's so much to say, man. Pardon me?
That's my Martinelli talk.
Do you think he's underappreciated? Because obviously Lewis-Skelly had a great game, but he works hard. He works his socks off. He's a big game player. I mean, you always see him turn up in big games. Do you think Arsenal fans, maybe like yourself, maybe not, underappreciate Martinelli?
I think I don't think Martinelli is underappreciated, but I think his qualities may be overlooked because Arsenal fans love Martinelli. Like I love Martinelli. I like when he plays. Yeah, because I like when he plays well. If he's not the level of that season where I think it was the 23-24 season, maybe 22-23. If he's not that level,
22-23.
Like you notice the difference. Martinelli, when he's at his level, brings a different intensity to the game, which teams can't cope with. So you need him at that level because when he's not, it's not nice to watch. So what was your question? Do you think he's
I'm just asking, do you think he's underappreciated? But you've answered it.
I guess I've answered it. I don't think he is. I think it's overlooked because he hasn't been at his level. But I will say that his game is very team orientated. So he's kind of less of an individual on the pitch, as much as you'd expect him to be because he's on the wing. But he is a really good team player. So yeah.
I always win in the end, man. It's been great, man. But less of the trolling with Martinelli. I just needed to get that out. What did you make of the Real Madrid game? Let us have all your thoughts.
Okay, so yeah. So start of the game, yeah. I'm seeing the atmosphere. I'm thinking, I don't even want to say the word I was thinking, but I was sitting there thinking, oh my God, I couldn't sit down for the first 10 minutes of that game.
You're dramatic, man.
No, I couldn't sit down. My hands were on my head. It was too much. But what I will say, the atmosphere before kickoff, I was like, wow. And obviously we've seen the atmosphere at Real Madrid, but I think it's different when it's your team that's there in that position playing them, you feel the atmosphere. Because usually when I watch other teams play Real Madrid at their at their ground, I don't know, you can't, the atmosphere doesn't really touch you. But yesterday, seeing the boys lined up with that atmosphere, I just I was almost
you need to get used to it.
Yeah, well, yeah, hopefully. I was almost sick, but the Real Madrid fans created a hostile environment. But in the tunnel, though, when I saw the boys in the tunnel, my note to myself was the boys look very calm. They looked very calm in the tunnel going out, looking at Raya, looking at Odegaard, even Saliba. Everyone looks quite calm. So I'm thinking, okay, well, that's a good sign. Obviously, I think they soaked it up in terms of the atmosphere, and the game started. It was very open in the first half at the beginning, end-to-end stuff, just right from the jump. And I think our level was up there from minute 1, to be honest, to minute 90. I can't really, honestly, there's not a player in this game that I can pick out and say this player didn't perform well. There are little things that, can always be better. But
let us know.
Okay, well, if I'm looking at the little things, I'm looking at players like Saliba, for example, who was absolutely fantastic in that defense. But I told you last time, didn't I, when I was on here, about his little clumsy gene? What did I tell you about Saliba? I said he's got a clumsy gene. I said he's a brilliant defender.
Lapse in concentration.
The boy is clumsy. I'm sorry. That one is not even, he's just clumsy. I think he's just a clumsy person.
Nah, you're being harsh.
No, he is clumsy. He's a great footballer. You can be clumsy and still be a great footballer, but I think
he's not clumsy.
It's like a personality trait. I think he's got that. He's just a clumsy person. I don't even think it's about his football, because them lapses of concentration, I'm looking at him what are you doing? Even last week in the fixture at home, he's slipping and sliding, all this stuff. So I didn't really, apart from that, I think he had a solid game. But that mistake, I don't know, even with the mistake, I'm kind of looking at it. Raya shouldn't have put him in that position, but Saliba, you've got to do better in those moments at the end of the day. And he's senior enough now in this team to be switched on, because we played the big games. We played a bit against the big teams. And so, a bit more concentration probably was needed just to make it the perfect night. But really, it was the perfect night. Coming out of the Bernabeu with a win is perfect. So can't really get onto Saliba too much for that.
You said it there, but I have to ask you. You see the comment on screen. Will Shirley apologize to Saliba and Kiwior? I don't know what that is. Maybe they picked on something. I don't know. I don't know,
because I've never been bad mouthing Kiwior. If anything, before the Everton game, me and you spoke about our lineups, and I was saying I said play Kiwior at right back, but you were saying Kiwior can't play against Real Madrid, blah blah blah. I think he's
me against Everton. Against Everton.
Because obviously we had the Real
Madrid
after Real Madrid game after, and you were like,
"Are you sure?"
100%. You were like,
because who else would I have suggested to play?
Would you play him against Real
Madrid? Are you sure I said that in relation to Real Madrid?
I'll send you the clip after. But anyway,
you can, because who else would have played at that point? Who else we got?
If you want to call it apologizing, call it that. I don't care. I am going to big up these players when they do well. Kiwior was outstanding. Okay, he was outstanding.
Over these 2 legs, he's been quality, man.
What a performance! I am stunned by Kiwior's performance. I'm not even gonna lie, because I expected him to be okay. I thought he was gonna be a little bit of a passenger, to be honest, but I thought he will survive. But this guy was pivotal. This guy
stood up tall, man.
Made a difference. It was
Saliba who made the mistake, like he said.
It was Saliba that made the mistake. Kiwior was solid. He was solid all the way through. He was a difference maker in that defense. That, like the comment says on screen, you just got to zip it. When you're what's the word, criticizing a player and they perform like that at the highest level.
Show Martinelli that energy then, because the way you talk about Martinelli and now Kiwior is different.
Martinelli's a starting player in this team. My expectations and he's been here for how many years, and he's been performing at a certain level for how many years. So I'm expecting that progression that Saka shows. I want that from Martinelli too. So if you are regressing in a season, people have expectations of you, you need to be called out, and clearly it's working, because we saw the performance he put out yesterday. And I want to make one more point about Martinelli, because he did a post-match interview.
Keep the points coming.
He did a post-match interview, and what I want to like just stress is that the points that I'm making, our players and our manager, they're on the same wave as me. Our players don't make excuses. Listen, they don't make excuses, you know. They don't make it. Mikel Arteta doesn't make these excuses that you try to make. So,
what did I make? Wait. Why am I catching streets? What excuses have I made?
You try to make excuses. When I'm saying things about players, you try to make excuses. But these players
rise up examples. This ain't gonna hold up in court. Like, why are you trying to get at me? What
all I'm saying is, these players, they don't make excuses for themselves. When Martinelli doesn't play well, he knows that he ain't played well. He's not riding on the past and how other people are giving him credit for things of the past. Like, he knows that his level is not where it needs to be. And yesterday, sorry, that was a hard fought performance from Martinelli. He got kicked down. He was fighting like right from the start, right to the end. And that's why he got that goal. Because when you work hard like that, you get something, like you deserve something. So that goal was just kind of a testament to the work that he put in. And, you know, that's how it is. I have to call it how it is.
I mean, but I'm with you, but like, what excuses do I make? I need specifics.
Listen,
I have the right to defend myself. I need to know.
Be done. There's too many streams where you start going left and saying things. So let me find.
I just want one example.
Let me find the clip for you. I told you the example before the Everton game when we were discussing our lineup and you were talking rubbish.
But that's not making sense, Shirley.
Why
it's not making sense.
Against Madrid? That's the example. So
I said to put this in chronological order. Yeah, against Everton, I said I'm not gonna play Kiwior against Real Madrid. Bearing in mind, I know Magalhaes is injured. I know this one's injured. That one's injured, and that. Who else is gonna play then?
You said that. You were like, "Oh, I don't think Kiwior against Real Madrid." But, you know, obviously, we're all wrong sometimes.
Are we conflating having concerns naturally, which I don't think is necessarily wrong, from going from Gabriel Magalhaes to Kiwior? That's very different.
Hey, look, you said it. I don't know.
I don't know what I said, because you're not moving like you know what I said. See how they slandered me?
Maybe it was just a concern, and that's fine. You know, we live and we learn.
I'm used to being slandered, you know, people. When you're this handsome and you're this knowledgeable about football and you're this welcoming to everybody on your platform, people are gonna try and come at the crown, man. It's calm, but they ain't got no specifics, they ain't got no evidence. They just said they're accusing me. They're doing the same things they accuse me of doing, or you say random things. It's all cap, people. Don't believe it. Who are you gonna believe, me or the person that didn't rate Martinelli, who's busting nutmegs and that at the Bernabeu? Let the streets decide, man. Let the streets decide.
I never once said I don't rate Martinelli. I just said he needs to do better.
Yeah, and I didn't say I don't rate Kiwior. I just said he needs to show more personality.
You didn't say you don't rate Kiwior, but my point is you were saying he should play against Real Madrid. That's it. That's
I said again. There's no one in this chat that can tell me I said that, because who else are we gonna play? One second, Shirley. Let me just go into my pocket and try to find this magical centre back that's going to play at that time ahead of Saliba. No, I can't find it. A bit like Spurs' trophy hopes. It's not making sense, man. You're slandering the guy. See what I mean about women from South London, people? They never tell the truth. But anyways, moving on. Kiwior flowers, Martinelli flowers. I want to kind of, before we keep going on about individual players' performances and all the backdrop here, you mentioned something and it provoked a thought in my head. Obviously, you mentioned the atmosphere. Now, fans are allowed to be as scared or as excited as they want. The players are the ones that have to go out there. Obviously, it's the Bernabeu. It's the Bernabeu after we're winning 3-0, and they've got their own problems and all of those things. With our ability to handle that kind of pressure, does that give you more confidence? Maybe not necessarily about us winning the Champions League this year, but moving forward, because we both know in this stage of the Champions League, it's a psychological battle.
Definitely, I think it gives us more confidence because you need to be, first of all, you need to be in it to win it. So you need to go further in the competition as far as you can. But yeah, I think even if we weren't to get it over the line this season, a result like that against Real Madrid, I think that what that does for the team is, so I'm just laughing at these comments. What that does is basically eliminate the fear of the other opponents in this competition. If you can beat Real Madrid in the manner that we beat them, you can beat anybody in this competition. So I think that's what that does for us. So whatever happens, you know, if we don't get it over the line this season, if we get to semi-final or we get to the final, the boys should be proud of themselves because they've done what a lot of teams haven't done, can't do, and they're still unbeaten against Real Madrid. So
just a pity we finally conceded a goal against Real Madrid, but you can't have everything. And I think you're right. So then that leads me to ask you, do you think it's our year?
Oh, for the Champions League. Do you know what? I feel something. I feel something, but I'm like, it's the hope that kills us. Like,
Amen.
I know that it's the hope that kills us. So I do feel something. I'm like, after yesterday and just getting through this tie, you have to start believing. But PSG, I think it's a bigger test than Real Madrid for us. Yeah, I do. I do think it's a bigger test than Real Madrid because I think that PSG's team is more cohesive than Real Madrid, and that is going to be an advantage for them to play us because you need to be cohesive if you're playing Arsenal because we are very cohesive as a team. So if you don't have that structure and that organization, like we're going to just break you down and dismantle you. But I think PSG, they do have that more than Real Madrid, and plus this just isn't Real Madrid's season, to be honest. They're still an absolutely world-class team, doesn't take away from who they are, but this just hasn't been their season. So I think that I have got confidence because the game, what just happened can only give you confidence. You can't be scared after you just knock out Real Madrid 5-1 on aggregate,
and you've got Martinelli.
Okay, yeah, and then there's a bigger test, PSG. And what if we get past PSG and you ask me this question, I'm going to say yes, 100%. I believe because we're in a final. Anything happens in a final. So, get past PSG and then I will tell you that 100% I believe that we can win it. Against Barca, a one-off game, I believe it. But we need to get past PSG. For me, I think that the players and Mikel probably have this same mentality where they could enjoy that win last night, maybe even enjoy it today, but you need to get your head back in the game really quickly because this is a long tournament and you need to be in it every single game. Like you need to be locked in. So for me, I'm like moving on to PSG, and I hope that that's where the boys are mentally now as well.
Who's the favourites for the champs for you? Excluding Arsenal, obviously.
The favourites for me is between Barcelona and Inter. But obviously they need to... Well, it can't be anyway because they're going to play each other, aren't they?
Yeah, but at this moment in time, it's a fair comment. Barca beat Dortmund, Inter dumped out Bayern. We don't know who's going to win between the two, but why them two?
If Barca advances, I would say Barca's the favourite. If Inter advances, I would put them as a favourite because Barcelona, obviously, they're having a great season. They're playing great. So we know why Barcelona is a threat. But Inter, I think that they are a very scruffy team. And we don't really do too well with scruffy teams. We like to play nice, clean football. When it gets a bit scruffy, we get a bit disorientated. So when I'm watching Inter defensively, they're really solid as well. And they've just got this chaos that they bring. It's very scruffy. That's the only
strikers are great.
Yeah, I don't really know too much about their strikers, to be honest. But from what I've seen, I just feel like they bring this chaos to a game that we won't really do too well with. And the best word I can use is scruffy, but I don't mean scruffy in a bad way. I mean it in a very kind of difficult to deal with way.
I don't think you're wrong. I think everybody can see. I think Inter, unlike Real Madrid, which up until last night was a thing. I think Real Madrid, Barcelona, Inter Milan, and there might even be another one, technically could have won a treble. Where Inter's concerned for me, they do the unorthodox thing where they play two strikers, and I think Martinez is playing out of this world, especially in the latter stages. They're great defensively. There's so much you can praise them, and you were bang on the money about Barcelona. There's nothing I can kind of add. But where you look at PSG and Inter, obviously, like us, they're still in the tournament. But we played both of them in the league group, and against Inter, we competed. We didn't deserve to win, but we got zanged from a penalty. They scored a pen. PSG, we beat them at the Emirates. You don't feel we could do that again, or do you feel it was at a different kind of moment towards now?
Well, with the PSG game, it was definitely in a different moment. This PSG team that we're going to face, is not the same PSG team that we faced earlier on in the tournament, because they were missing a lot of players as well, and I don't think that they weren't as cohesive at that stage yet, and it's definitely developed over time. So I do think we can do it. I do, because like I said, if you beat Real
Talk
Madrid,
with chest, then you're being conservative
no,
and
I was
nervous,
just
and
thinking, like, if we beat Real
but we don't
Madrid,
make excuses,
beat
surely.
anybody. But that's not an excuse. I'm saying, like, I believe that we can beat anyone. You're asking me, do you think we can go and do it against PSG and Inter? Of course we can. Of course we can. But it's like it's difficult. There's different problems that present itself, than to Real Madrid, and they are still very, very valid problems that you need to be weary of. You can't underestimate them, because we see now what happens when teams underestimate other teams in the Champions League, how Real Madrid underestimated Arsenal. And then we see what happens when you do that. So you can't go into any game making that mistake. So, of course, I believe we can do it against either of them, but I've got my guard up because they're both great teams.
You wouldn't say we're the favourites after we've dumped out technically the current reigning holders, and this is Real Madrid's tournament. They've won it 15 times. That if that's not a statement, I don't know what is.
Yeah, it is a statement, but this isn't for lack of belief in the team. Like, I've expressed that I believe in the team, but I don't think we're favourites just now. I think the PSG game and how we face up to them, if we knock them out and we do it in the same manner that we did to Real Madrid, we're favourites.
3 games from a final.
You need to be scared of us then if we do that. But I think that you need to be scared of us now anyway, because we've just knocked out Real Madrid and no one saw that coming. But I do think that you know what? I just forgot your question, so you might want to ask again.
And let's just move on. What did you make of because I'm gonna forget a question I wanted to ask you. Like, obviously, I know you have a Twitter account, then you don't have a Twitter account, then you do have one, but you're on Insta, you're on social media, right? What did you make of the social media stuff from Real Madrid? Because it felt like a bit excessive from a Madrid perspective.
Mate, it was ridiculous. I was cringing. It was comical. I'm sorry, but you're rattled. Like, when I saw that during the week, I was thinking, these lot are rattled. Like, this is crazy. That, like, first of all, you're talking about, we're gonna put the roof on. Like, okay, and then you were looking at we're gonna, like, the fans were saying, oh, the atmosphere is gonna be so hostile. It's the longest 90 minutes you're ever gonna play at the Bernabeu. All this talk, you lot were roaring at the start of the game, roaring through your lungs. Did ultimately it all amounted to nothing. And you know why? Even Bellingham in the lead up, he was getting a bit cocky in that press conference, talking about this remontada, whatever, talking about it means comeback, and this is the word we keep hearing. Well, it went through one ear and out the other one, because you didn't deliver. Like, you kept hearing it and it didn't stick. So, what do I think of the social media? I think it's absolutely comical. Hold that, Real Madrid. You got
Amen.
You got schooled. That's how you move as Arsenal. You keep silent, let people talk, and go and deliver on the pitch. That's how you silence people. So I think it was brilliant. I think they even added to how satisfactory it was. The fact that they did all of that, went through all that effort, put up this banner, screaming their lungs out. Yeah, and then as soon as the game started, they were on ropes within 5 minutes of that game. So it was peak for them. It was peak.
What do you make of the referee's performance? Because I did think brilliant. Real Madrid would have got a pen, but they didn't. Like, what do you make of the ref?
He was great. He let the game flow. Let me talk about the decisions. The first penalty that we got awarded, I think it was a penalty on Marino. At the end of the day, he's advancing. It was soft, but you know what? It's a clear penalty. Like, he's advancing through a goal. Well, yeah. If by the like the letter of the law, he's going through on goal. It's a goal scoring opportunity. You've pulled him for way too long. It is what it is, and he's gone down. Sorry, it's a penalty. Now, obviously, Saka missed it. I don't even want to talk about that too much, because I don't really.
I don't know why Saka was doing what he did there. But he's the star. I like the confidence, but that was horrible.
Yeah, he tried to think. So it was not the greatest penalty. It was one of the worst penalties we've seen him take. But you know what? if you've got the balls to try that at the Bernabeu and then miss it and go and do what he did on the other end, you know what? Fair play. Try it again next time, because you've got the mentality. Yeah, because it's the mentality like that. Everything happens for a reason. That just showed us like where this guy is mentally, where he was like, you know what? Don't worry. Like, you know, don't panic, Arsenal fans. I've got something for Courtois.
Him and Martinelli, mentality monsters. You're right.
They were brilliant. So, you know, I think when you're looking at I forgot. I keep forgetting what you're asking me. What was your question?
You need to go sleep, man. We was talking about you was discussing the referee's decisions.
Oh yeah,
the referee moment for the pen.
Okay, cool. Next penalty on Mbappe, soft. As soon as I saw it, I was like, no way. I was like, no way is that a penalty. Mbappe he was placing his arms onto Rice, leaning onto Rice.
He's looking for it.
Leaning onto Rice, and then he goes down. I'm sorry. That was so tacky. You cannot. Oh my D. Wow, SLD. Anyway,
might be something a bit stronger than a spliff, man. It might, you know, I don't know, cheeky lines or something. I don't know what they do over there.
Are you okay? Anyway, yeah, soft penalty, and I really credit to Rice for really standing up for himself and being like, absolutely not. Like, you need to check this. This is no. Like, he really was firm in the sense that like it's not a penalty, and you could just see. I saw it, we all saw it, but you could see by the players' reaction as well that this is worth a second guess. But credit to the ref for going to the screen. Took forever. They were like looking at it forever. Then he went to the screen, and I thought, good, go to the screen, have a look at it, and to overturn that decision in a stadium with that many people roaring at you, then. Yeah,
refs would crumble.
Yeah, you would go with, and then plus it's so easy to just stick to the on-field decision, because look how long that they were looking at it for. It's so easy for them to be like, okay, it's not really clear, we're not sure, so let's stick with.
And they're checking offsides. It's not making sense.
Did they check, or who was meant to be offside?
1 minute they're checking, like you said, the Mbappe thing. Then they've checked the phase of play to see he's onside. Then they've said, referee, go and do your little jog and have a look. And then that brings us to the point you've been referring to.
Yeah, but I think the ref had a great game. Like, even just throughout the game, he was, you know, he wasn't one of those biased refs that I thought we were going to come up against, to be honest. He was neutral. He let the game flow, most importantly. And he weren't having the wool pulled over his eyes. There was a lot of things happening in that game where the Real Madrid, they were doing the dark arts. They were really trying to be cheeky and get things out of the ref and make it look like we were moving completely mad. But the ref didn't fall for it. Real Madrid just weren't up for it physically. The physicality,
physically, mentally, tactically, everything.
Yeah, they weren't a match. So that's what that was. And the ref did his job.
We got to keep going into the individual performance. So we've given Martinelli, Kiwior, Saliba their flowers. Shout out Raya, but in a good way. There's not much to talk about from a David Raya perspective. Big him up for the dark arts and wasting time. Timber and Lewis-Skelly. I mean, that's one thing we can agree on. They're absolutely amazing.
Wow.
What do you make of them?
For me, Timber is just so impressive because for you to miss an entire season of football, and then you're in the team this season, and we are in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. The consistency in this guy's performances, I think, like, I don't know if we speak about the consistency enough, to be honest. This guy turns up.
I do. I don't know if someone like yourself does.
This guy turns up every time he plays. Yeah. And again, it's the assurance that he brings me in that right back position. I'm not scared when I see Timber there. I'm feeling so calm. No matter who he comes up against, I'm calm. And the physicality, again, that he brings in that defense, he muscles people up all the time in that defense. He reads
his Bible and locks wingers up, man. What a guy.
He tweets a verse and then he goes on to do his business on the pitch. And, you know, nothing really new I can say about Timber. You know, I've been singing his praises over the last few weeks. Same old.
Have you?
Yes, I have.
Big up Benjamin White. Certain people say Benjamin White's first choice ahead of him. I don't know who said that though.
Who says that?
I don't know. I know what people said on my streams, but I'm not gonna do you like how you did try to do me. Those who know better do better.
First of all, you're referring to the Everton lineup. I said play Ben White because why not? We need to play.
Oh, so now there's reasoning behind your selections about Everton, but there's this completely out of context with me. Wow.
Listen, I don't know about all that. I'm just saying, you know, my one is clear. I was clearly saying rest Timber for Madrid. That's why you.
So why is yours clear but mine ain't?
Because it weren't. But listen, you see, I forget my points because this is what you do. You start derailing me. So
no, you forget. You forget. That's the only time I've interrupted you. You forget your points because you're lacking the comprehension skills to remember what you're saying. But we're gonna get there. We're gonna develop you. We're gonna get there. I'm not giving up on you, Shelly. Don't worry, man. You're gonna get somewhere. We're gonna. Pardon me.
Don't give up.
We're not in. I'm like Mikel Arteta. You seeing what he's done with Martinelli and Saka. We're gonna make a content creator out of you. Don't you worry, man. Just learn. Just do some Sudoku or some brain exercises, man. But I'm gonna remind you. You praised Timber, big him up. Lewis-Skelly on that left hand side.
God, what this boy, this kid, yeah, is mustard.
What a player.
SLD is a troublemaker, you know. You need to block him off your stream.
Nah, he's a mod. He's helping. Listen,
this guy's a troublemaker. No, I've peeped it.
If you said that, you said that. I don't know about anything.
The comments that he's been making, I've seen what he's doing. That's all I'm gonna say. Anyway, but Lewis-Skelly, just, I'm running out of words. This boy, defensively, solid, strong as hell. Okay, strong, drifting into the midfield. Drifting all the way up to the final third, for crying out loud. This boy's confidence on the ball.
Dribbling past,
even
man.
Just the way he moves, like just watching him run and like, I don't know, there's something.
The aura.
Yeah, I'm just like, I cannot believe my eyes watching this boy. And I can't believe he's 18. And you know what? At the start of the game, I looked at him and I could see the occasion. Like you could see him taking a deep breath, like when they were lining up and just kind of, you could see in his eyes, he's thinking, am I really here? I'm actually.
I think that's Cap personally, but man.
No, and he said it though. He said it after the game in his.
I looked in his eyes. It was business as usual.
No,
man.
He literally said, I didn't say that he looked scared, but he took it.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, so that's not what I said either. What I'm saying is that in his eyes, you could see that this is a completely new experience for him, and he was taking that in. And he said it in his post-match interview that at the start, I was a little bit like overwhelmed because like the stadium, the fans, it was so much noise. But after that, he got into it, and what a performance! What a performance over the two legs. Left back is his. There's no question. That's his position. He starts there. End of story.
We still need another one though.
Oh yeah, we might need another one because we can't trust Calafiori. The guy can't stay fit. But just what a season for Miles Lewis-Skelly. You know, in your breakout season, for you to achieve what he's done and put in that type of performance against Real Madrid.
It's ridiculous.
Phenomenal. Hats off to him. I'm full of praise for him. Nothing new.
Nothing new for Miles Lewis-Skelly, man. You know, some of us have always believed, some of us need a bit of convincing, but we're not going to say no names. So that's the defensive third. Let's talk about Thomas Partey now. Elephant in the room, obviously kind of got into a bit of handbags and got a yellow card, and he's out of the PSG first leg, which is another talking point for another time, really and truly. But Thomas Partey, what do you make of his performance? Are we making a mistake letting him go? Should he be getting a new deal? Everything, Partey.
You know, I say he needs to get at least another year deal. I've said that, and I still believe that. But what a performance from him, apart from that silly, you know, letting them get in your head moment towards the end. Another absolutely solid performance from Thomas Partey. The physicality in that midfield, him and Declan Rice ran circles in that midfield. They were missing, you know, that Bellingham, all these men, whoever they've got in there, missing. Partey and Rice, the strength of those two, like, I was thoroughly impressed. I was thoroughly impressed by Thomas Partey. I think he had a great performance. But like I said on the last stream, this is his level. Like, Thomas Partey's been to the Bernabeu and played several games. He was at Atletico. He knows what it's like. For him, it was business as usual. I didn't really see, and you rarely see in the big games, you rarely see Thomas Partey flustered, looking nervous. He does this. This is what he does. When he's at his level, this is the type of performance that he's going to pull off. I'm not shocked. I'm more shocked by Declan Rice's performance because not to say that I don't think he's got it in him, but I'm shocked at the levels that this guy is. Can you let me finish my points before you?
I didn't say anything. I'm listening. I'm listening.
Let me.
Did I interrupt?
Before you screw up your face.
I'm just listening. I heard surprised about Rice.
Put yourself on me. I don't want to hear your cackling.
Anyway,
Anyway.
Is there a next guy here? It could never be me, but go on.
Declan Rice, the levels that this boy is reaching, that's why it's scary levels. The form that he's in the form of his life. I don't think I've seen him have a run of games like he's had in the last. Actually, no. Last season he did really well as well. But he's in great form. Declan
but she's
Rice,
surprised.
I said I'm more shocked at Declan Rice's performance than Partey's performance because Partey.
That's not what you said.
That is what I said. That's literally what I said.
I beg someone rewind it.
Yeah.
But go on, Shirley. Go on.
Anyway,
you know what? I'm gonna be nice. Someone's got to be mature here. Go on.
Exactly. I'm glad you get that now. But anyway, so Rice, the running, he was everywhere in the midfield. He was everywhere, all over the pitch. That's why I'm saying Partey was levels, but Declan Rice, I think the levels were just slightly over. Like Declan Rice was everywhere. The engine on him, to the end. Like, did he get taken off? I think he was on the pitch to the end, but until he left that pitch, like the engine was on full display. The leadership that he shows. That's why I'm saying he's slightly edged Partey, because the leadership that Declan Rice shows is so impressive. You can see, even when Partey made that mistake, you saw how fuming he was. Like, he was fuming and he laid into Partey because he's like, what are you doing? You need someone that is going to be vocal and geeing up players around them.
Didn't get rattled when Bellingham was doing the most as well in that game.
Didn't get rattled, but he kept his head. This is a leader we've got on this pitch. He might not be captain, but he is a real leader. And like the performances that he's putting in, just as the weeks go on, just displaying that same mentality and leadership that he took at West Ham to get them that Conference League. This is what he's trying to embed here in Arsenal, and I love to see it.
Do you think he's shut people up now? Because there's a lot said about his price tag and he can't play as an 8 and he's not aesthetically pleasing and all that crap.
I don't want to hear nobody talking about Declan Rice anymore. It's done. The debate is done. What's there to debate about? The guy's world class. You don't put in a performance like that over 2 legs against
times 2, yeah.
Exactly, over 2, and not. Let's talk of just the performance. You don't score free kicks like that, then have a solid rest of the performance, then come to the Bernabeu and put in that performance, and they're at the highest level in the Champions League, and they're still questioning if he's world class. For me, the argument is done. Declan Rice was half price, as we say. We owe West Ham big time. We owe them another 100 mil. We are in debt to West Ham.
He's not worth 105 million, if I'm honest, man. He's worth a hell of a lot more. What a midfielder, Rice. I mean, the man's an all-action midfielder. He's a complete midfielder. There's nothing he can't do.
He's all-round. He's an all-round midfielder, and I think even the debates we have: is he a 6? Is he an 8? Do you know what? Just let him play everything. He's everywhere.
I think that's debates with people like yourself. I think those, like myself, we don't get involved in that. We watch football at a different level. But go on, to you commoners, I get it, Shirley. I get it.
You know what? There always comes a time in the stream where I realize what you're doing, and then
I'm not doing anything.
All your comments just kind of, they become water off a duck's back. So,
oh, sorry, I'm Saka. Everybody talks, and I ignore it. Ooh.
I'm not entertaining you anymore. What's next?
Sorry, mentality monster. I didn't know, man. I didn't know.
What is next? Let's be real.
There's an interesting comment, yeah. Like Juju has said, don't let yesterday distract you from the fact that Madrid has been mid all season. Now, I want to add something to that, yeah. Pardon me?
Just saying an Arsenal fan.
Yeah, it's not an Arsenal fan, but like, how much weight do you think that holds? Because for me, that's irrelevant. Because nobody disconnect. In fact, Arsenal fans weren't saying that. The football world weren't saying that. It's Real Madrid's trophy, the aura, all of this, and also Arsenal have been middle season of the 3 years domestically.
Exactly.
Look how far we're at. Look at the team. We've got Kiwior in there. We've got Marino in there. We've done it over 2 legs. I don't expect rival fans to credit us, but I think that's a lie.
I don't expect you to like blow smoke up our, you know what, but don't start lying. Like, don't start lying through your teeth. This is Real Madrid. We saw how they performed up until this stage. Were they not knocking out all the other teams? Were they not knocking out the other teams in the Champions League before they met Arsenal? So, you know, but when we drew Real Madrid, nobody was saying, oh, they've been mid all season, Arsenal can beat them. It was, oh, you drew Real Madrid, you're gone.
They thought they were going to enjoy hate watching.
Yeah, I saw some crazy hate watches. I saw some epic hate watch fails in the last week. It's been like a week for the books. I think certain guys shouldn't do another hate watch again because it's sad. But anyway, yeah, I think I answered your question. I don't know.
I mean, I think you did.
Comment invalid. Sorry.
Yeah, it's just I'm just dead in it. Like I've seen the goalpost move for Declan Rice, for Bukayo Saka, for Mikel Arteta, and in fact, that's a good segue. What do you make of Mikel Arteta? Is he worth persisting with? Like, you know, I know there's times where we're like, even the most loyalist of Arteta fan can sit there and say, oh, I don't know. I think you're a good manager, but can you get us over the line? With what he's done across these 2 legs and a masterclass against Carlo Ancelotti, like, does it restore your faith in Mikel Arteta? Do you believe he's the guy? Do you think there still should be questions? Where you at with him?
So with Mikel Arteta, my stance is always the same. I think he's a good manager. I just need him to win. I don't want him to talk. I don't want him to make any excuses. I just want him to win because why? He's gotten the team to a level where we are consistently competing. So I'm not going to turn around and say, oh, he's crap. But when you keep competing and edging, you need to get over the line. That's what Arsenal fans want. So that's why. However, big credit to Mikel Arteta, and he deserves it. He deserves the credit. Why? Because it was, first of all, it was a defensive masterclass by Arsenal over both legs. Like if you look in the dictionary, defensive masterclass, Arsenal's picture should be there to show a team how to put on a defensive masterclass against a top team. That is what we demonstrated.
Your face would be there next to gaslighting, but gone.
Okay. We'll be there in the dictionary for how to display a defensive masterclass against a world-class team. That's what Mikel Arteta has actually done for us, and he deserves credit. His tactics, the shape of the team, like the shape across both games, but more so yesterday watching, I was thinking, wow, like, you know, our shape. I think Thierry Henry pointed it out as well defensively, how he gets the our wingers to defend the 2 wide players, and then our sort of defensive shape, you've got like 2 lines of Arsenal players kind of behind the ball, and we do that really well. Yeah, and that's why like you can't get anything past us. The back line rarely, Thierry Henry said this, and you know, he helped me to actually see, because it's true, like the back line rarely moved when we were defending those balls. How many headers did we put into clear balls away?
They're crossing the ball, which is food and drink to us.
Exactly. We're eating it up. It's going to Kiwior and Saliba, how tall they are. Like, you know, you're not really going to get much luck. And they were just standing on the line, just heading everything out. And it was just food. So, yeah, Mikel Arteta, the way he set up the team, absolutely, like, to do it over 2 legs, he deserves major credit.
With a weak inside as well. I don't hear nothing about Real Madrid.
Marino playing centre forward for the last God knows how many, like 2 months now, with injuries still. Like the guy, yeah, he's shown resilience. He's shown like tactically, he's up there. You know, to compete with the managers that he's compared. And this ain't the only great manager that he's outclassed this season. He did the same thing to Guardiola too. Let's not forget what we did to City at home.
And Enrique. Whatever time it was, he still did it.
Exactly. So it's like he's showing the growth in Arteta is showing. He's got a lot of learning to do, and he needs to get over the line. I think once he gets over the line, that will get it will shrug off any kind of doubts that he might have as well about himself or about other things, as well as for the players and for the fans as well. But you have to give credit where credit is due. He's done a fantastic job at getting through this tie. And do I believe, like, is he worth keeping? Yeah, he's worth keeping. If he keeps doing this, he's worth keeping. But now you've done that, it's giving me confidence that you can do the same thing against PSG, because now I've got a different level of trust in Arteta's tactics. I've got a different level of trust in just kind of how he prepares the game. That doesn't mean that I think he's going to win everything. I need him to win everything. But in terms of tactically, I'm appreciating him a lot more after that tie against Real Madrid, just because of the display.
It's only taken you 3 years. Some of that, like I said, we're watching football at different levels, but you got there in the end, man. You know, it's like the hare and the tortoise. You got there, man. We're happy that you finally are able to see. Word of advice: if you ever want to see how football games really played, stop watching where the ball is and watch all the other players without it. But you'll learn the thing being here, Shirley, man. Don't watch nothing. Who else is there? You touched on it, Marino. A bit of two questions. How do you think his performance went? And is he a better striker for us than Kai Havertz?
You asked me that second question last time.
I'm going to keep asking it every time. Not just you, everyone that's on the platform.
What do I think of his performance? Great performance today. Great performance. The 2 assists. Okay. The pass to Martinelli, to find Martinelli. I'm sorry, that was beautiful. I loved that. I love seeing that.
You weren't even rating him initially, but
here we go.
This is your chance to say sorry.
He's making runs. He's winning. He won the penalty. Listen, that was a great performance from, it was like having a real centre forward in there. The only thing he was missing was a goal or a couple, So again,
2 assists and a goal across the 2 legs, though. He's doing all right.
Yeah. So look, again, it's credit to him. Let me just say, I'm crediting every player, even Odegaard, which we're going to get to. Every player to a man yesterday did their job. Every player to a man. So Marino as well, you did your job. I think he had a great performance. Now, in terms of is he a better striker than Kai Havertz, I still don't think so. But it's very close. It's very close. Well, it's close because of the ability and quality to finish. It's close. And it's close because his all-round centre-forward game is improving now as well. But Kai Havertz, I just think he's a little bit more unpredictable as a centre-forward. And I just think, just instinctively, he's just got that over Marino. But that's about it. That is about it at this point. If Marino consistently plays in that position, who knows what he will do? And he's having a good few games. So I would slightly edge it with Kai Havertz, but he can get bumped off by Marino easily. So yeah.
Should we make him a striker long term? And if that is the case, if you do believe that, or don't, do we need a striker in the summer then?
Do you know what? I think he plays better in the centre forward position than he plays in midfield, to be honest. So I don't know. But what he does, though, he's played better. In my opinion, he's played better as a centre forward than he's played when he's a midfielder.
Is he not dropping into midfield anyways?
Yeah, he is. But that even improves. That's why it improves his centre forward game. It's a bit complicated, though, with Marino, because you're asking me, would I make him a striker going forward? That's a bit complicated. I feel like he's got qualities to, yes, he can come in and cover, but I just don't know if he can be sustainable. He can be effective sustainably as a centre forward. So for that reason, I would keep him as a midfielder, but depth for the centre forward position, you can look at Marino. He's there to be considered, to be counted, and we know that now. He's shown us that now. So it's a conversation, but I don't think I would take the plunge of converting him into a striker right now. And plus, we need to go and sign a world-class striker in summer. That's what we need to do. Forget all of this converting people. Go and sign the world-class striker. That's what we need to do.
Who is this world-class striker that we need to sign?
Just go sign Gyökeres. I don't even know if he's world-class, but just go sign Gyökeres and call it a day. Just sign him and call it a day. I'm tired. You're not going to get Isak, so just sign Gyökeres, and I don't want to hear no more noise. That's it after that. It needs to be done. We know what we need to do. This is very obvious. Like, all the ducks are leading up to us signing Gyökeres and pushing on. If we don't do that, we fail. So we need to sign him.
The days like, well, nights like yesterday and the day and the week before, yeah. Do we probably overrate what we need to do in the summer? Like, do we need that many players? I know obviously you've alluded to it, and I think everyone would agree we need a striker, but like, do we really need that many players for you?
I think we need at least 4 or 5, because we've seen how the Premier League, because of the physicality that it carries, you're playing 38 games and every team is physical. So it's like, apart from maybe Man City, they're probably the least physical team you're going to come across in the Premier League at this point. But because of that, we know that players can get injured just ridiculously. We've seen it this season. For me, I would just feel a lot more confident to have more cover, like cover for the, like you said, the left back position, cover for the CDM position, a new striker, you know, another left winger. Like, these are areas that I think we need cover. I would even look at maybe another centre back. I don't know, but I think we need cover. We need depth. I don't want to go through a season like this ever again. I don't want to see like the key players out and we don't really have answers. Like, that was hard to watch. So if we learned anything from this season, then yes, I do think that we need as many players as people are saying in the summer. I don't think it's a overhyped thing. I think we do need to invest heavily.
Need to invest heavily. For me, get a striker, get a left winger, get a centre midfielder, get a left back, get someone who can play centre half. Ideally, a Timbery, Tomiyasu kind of one that's kind of versatile. Clearly needs a couple of goalies.
Is he coming back or what? Like, is he gonna come back? This Tomiyasu guy? Because we've still got him. Like, you know, we need to play.
Are you gonna hold your breath for Tomiyasu to get returned? I love the lad, as everybody knows.
What is going on with him? Like, how long is he meant to be out for?
They say December, so who knows? He played 6 minutes of Premier League football. I love Tommy, but you're irrelevant.
December this year. Oh, yeah. He's
exactly. Wow. Exactly. We hope and pray he's back, but
we need another centre back. We need another centre half. For me to feel assured, we like the injury to Gabriel. You know, we are lucky that we have Kiwior and Saliba standing, because even Ben White, for whatever reason, hasn't featured yet. And his fitness has been a bit of a question still. So, you know, yeah, we need the cover.
We've been skipping over it, but Martin Odegaard, talk to me about the captain. Because some people in the chat keep saying, "Oh, are you gonna just skip over it? Are you gonna go about Martin Odegaard?" Here we are, folks.
Last time I said that Odegaard, you know, he weren't showing up to work. In the last game, he didn't show up to work. Everyone else showed up. Odegaard, he was still at home. However, yesterday, Odegaard showed up to work. He clocked in and he said, oh, he looked around and he said, oh, I'm at work. Oh, okay. And then he started to play. The thing is, he had a much better game than what I don't even know how many weeks it's been since I've seen this level of performance from Odegaard that we saw yesterday. Much, much better game. Another thing I noticed about Odegaard, he took a shot. It went wide.
Yeah, with his right peg, yeah. And it was actually over here for once.
Yeah, but he took a shot, and I'm like, thank you. Even if you don't, like, you might not score it, but from those positions that you get yourself into, you need to be testing that goalkeeper. That's what you need to do. And I'm just so happy that he did that, because whenever he gets in these positions, he doesn't look like he's confident to take the shot. But yesterday he did it, and I was very happy with that. I still felt like there were things that he could do a little bit better, but in terms of him picking up the ball, running into spaces, he did it really, really well. He was pressing, and he took a shot, which is, for me, that was very notable, because I'm like, this guy's scared of shooting. So for him to do that in that pressure cooker, credit to him. He was still probably, like, I wouldn't look at him as a standout player of that game, but I have to say there was an improvement from what I saw in the first leg, because in the first leg I wasn't happy with his performance at all. At least yesterday, I'd say he stood up to be counted, and he gave a decent display of himself.
Are you not being harsh a tiny bit on him, considering he's just become a dad? I'm asking because life has come at him very quick. He's a captain of Arsenal, captain of Norway, just become a dad. Pressure on him, big game, quarterfinals for the first time in God knows how long. Maybe his first time playing that, trying to get us to the semi-finals for the first time since 2009. I'm just asking this. I have to ask the questions. I'm not saying that I believe this. I'm just asking you lot. Once again, he had a kid. I'm asking you, playing at his old club as well. I'm just asking you. I don't know why you're looking at me like that.
Am I being harsh because he had a kid? Because his wife gave birth.
The kid could have played a part. Yes, it takes two to make a baby. It's an emotional strain as well, and he's got a very complicated job in the Mikel Arteta system.
The short answer is no. It doesn't play a part. That's the short answer.
You're harsh. You're very harsh.
No,
go on.
I don't think I'm harsh. Odegaard, we need levels from him. People have expectations of him. When you have a season like the 22-23 season, where Odegaard was absolutely cooking, probably the best number 10 in the league that season, I'm sorry, when your levels are not there, you're going to get called out. And then you're the captain as well. Sorry, I'm expecting you to lead this team to victory. That's not quite what you did. I would say Declan Rice did that, but he had a better performance. I gave him the credit. He had a better performance. He's still not
involved in Saka's goal.
Yeah, I did, but that's what he does. That's what Martin Odegaard does well. So, and I'm saying he did that well yesterday, but he's still not at his level. He's still not reached Martin Odegaard levels that we know that he can. And I think that there may be something about the occasion of the game, not the occasion of him being nervous that he's playing Real Madrid. I think it's just the way the game was. I think it was a bit too
newborn dad being away from his kid as well in Spain is going to play a part. Why are you kissing your teeth? I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you.
All right then.
I'm agreeing.
Yeah. We're agreeing. Yeah.
What is your beef?
No,
then go on. Before I ask you about
you're being harsh. So
you are being a bit harsh. You are being very harsh. But life is harsh, man. And people like you, they'll slag off our players, and when you see them return, you'll be the first to big them up, just like with Martinelli. And that's the way it should be. Like, ignorance is bliss.
I'll be first in line. When Odegaard puts in an absolute 10 out of 10 performance, I'm going to be first in line to credit him. I will. And if he puts in a stinker, I'm going to be the first person to criticize him as well.
Yeah, it's going to take... You're right. It will take you a bit of time to get up to speed with things, It took you about 18 months to see we're a good defensive side. So you're right in that regard, Shirley. You're right.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Sure, it did. Yeah.
You said it, not me. Like... You can't even remember the things you're saying.
I said it for the first time on your stream. How about that?
Say that again.
I said, are you saying I said it, or did I say it for the first time on your stream? Are you there?
I think you said it.
I'm having every football conversation in my life. Are you present to know what I say and don't say?
Well, I can only comment about what you say here, bro.
Or do you Exactly.
So I'm holding you accountable. You don't even remember what you say here. You can't remember the questions being asked.
You can't say it took me 18 months to realize something when it took me 18
months. But you did. If we go back, we're talking about our defending. We've been a good defensive side, mid, low blocks, all of that. So I have to ask. But people like yourself,
SLD, Marcel, I know the culprits in this place. All of you are the same.
Crazy snitching going on. Crazy snitching going on. I don't know what's going on. Do you think this season is just a write-off for Martin Odegaard? Because for me, I'll be real, I won't give up on Martin Odegaard. Yeah, I hear all the comments about the form, need an upgrade, maybe, all the I wouldn't even say negatives, but all the fair questions. I stand by them. I think they're all valid. I can't give up on Odegaard. I call him Wondergaard, the class region. I've got a lot of time for him, and I feel a sense of loyalty to a lot of these players. I'm not saying this is a charity, but we gas up these players and then we turn on them almost immediately. I'm not really on that. I don't think he was amazing yesterday. I think he was much better than he was in the first leg. Obviously, I was trolling a bit, but he had a bit of a hand in Saka's chip. And yeah, he did his thing, man. Big up Odegaard. But like, do you think the season's just a write-off then for Odegaard? Like, it is what it is. We go again next year with him.
Yeah, I think it's a write-off. Although, look, there's still 3 games in the Champions League that he can stand up to be counted for, and 3 games that matter a lot. Like 3 games, if you come and put in a performance in any of those games, probably the rest of the season would be forgotten. If Odegaard turns up against PSG, and wins that game, thank you Tactics, thank you for seeing what I see. If he turns up, who's gonna talk about the rest of his season that he's had? No one's really gonna talk about it. Like, so there's still games for him to like make something out of his season, but I do think that, look, this season just weren't his season. And we also have to remember that he had a big injury at the start of the season, and
that's what I'm saying. You had the injury, you've had a kid, life's come at you fast.
The kid thing, I'm not hearing it, but the injury thing, if it's something that he's not quite reached his level since coming back from that injury, it was a long-term injury as well, then maybe that's what it is. But at the end of the day, this just weren't his season. The levels weren't there.
But has he been that bad though? Like yeah, the Odegaard of a couple of years ago.
He's never been woeful. Like, when I see him play, I don't look at him and think, oh God, you were woeful today, because that's crazy. I never think that of him. I just think that, you're the captain, which means that I'm expecting you to be the most consistent at your level that we know you can play. So when he's not consistent, it's just, it's annoying, because we know what Odegaard brings when he's absolutely cooking. It's magical stuff that he does. When he doesn't do that, we miss out. So, it's just more, I think you just notice it more. But could I sit here and say Odegaard he probably has, but not that I can really remember. But a woeful performance? No, I wouldn't say that about him. Not like other players that I could say that about.
What would you grade this season out of 10?
Of 5. Maybe even a 4. But I'd say 5 just to be nice.
I'm not gonna lie, Odegaard, based on your own standards, 4 still, because I'm scratching my head of thinking of good games you've had. But that's not a disrespect. That's because ultimately you set the levels.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. Like, I have to criticize Odegaard because if you're not playing at your level, who set these levels? We ain't pulling it out of thin air. It's you that we watched. So if you're not performing to that same standard, of course, like, people are going to get onto you. Like, we know what you can do. So it's either you're having a bad season or whatever it is, but he needs to recognize that and go again next season. I think 4. I wanted to say 4. I thought it was a bit harsh. So I gave him a 5, but it is a 4. It's a 4 out of 10.
So then what are you saying for Ipswich on Sunday? We have to switch our attentions towards that.
Listen, that game means nothing to me. It means nothing to me. It means, look, go out there, play well. Arteta's going to rotate, definitely, which he should. Rotate, do your best. That's all I've got to say.
Do you really think that's the sensible thing to say? Because we are Arsenal Football Club. We want to win. We want to build momentum. Ipswich are fighting for their lives. This is a big game in many ways. Look, even before the 2 games against Real Madrid, many people would have looked at the Ipswich game and said this is a tougher test than that 2-legged tie.
Nah, I wouldn't say that though. I wouldn't say that it's a tougher test. I just think, against the lower level teams, we do struggle because of their low blocks, and it doesn't suit us. But whatever team Arteta puts out there should be able to beat Ipswich. So that's the way I'm seeing it. Go out there and do your best. You say, like you said it yourself, with Arsenal, all that stuff. Exactly. So anytime you go on the pitch, you do your best, because
he's doing his best.
So that's all I can ask for then. So against Ipswich, I just want whoever he fields to go out there and do their best. And that's it. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for you to score X amount of goals. I'm not asking for you to do this or that. Just go through the game. Don't get injured. Do your best. Get the 3 points, because we want to win. We like to win, and it will keep momentum. You just
said you don't care about the game, so how do I know you want to win?
In the grand scheme of things, I don't care about the game, obviously, because I care about the Champions League more. But
why don't you feel that's silly to say?
No, I don't. But I just think that that's not an excuse to not perform in a game. Just go out there and do your best. It's not that deep.
You thought you spoke earlier about high standards, though.
Yeah, but you don't need to overthink Ipswich. Just go and play
Yeah,
well.
you do.
No, you don't. You need to
Why don't
overthink PSG because we should be beating Ipswich easy.
But that's complacency creeping into you. You're assuming because we're Arsenal and they're Ipswich, a bit like what Real Madrid did.
It's not. The levels are worlds apart. Okay, Real Madrid and
Newcastle could finish above us.
They ain't gonna finish above us.
I hope not.
Above us. I think we'll keep there's not much work required for us to maintain second in this league. Like, we're gonna finish second. That's the bottom line. So turn your attention to PSG. Everyone's mind should be there. Ipswich, whoever he fields out, it will be a game for Ranieri. It will be a game for maybe Ben White. Hopefully we get to see him because I really want to see Ben White. Tierney should start in the left back. You know, this is what I'm expecting to see in this game.
So, forgetting someone?
No, I ain't.
You are. You know you are. Come on. You know you're forgetting the name. You know you're forgetting someone. Mr. Raheem Sterling.
Oh, shock. I thought you were talking about someone else. What about him?
Shouldn't he get minutes against Ipswich?
Why should he?
Because you just spoke about rotating players.
Yeah,
we ain't got the biggest squad.
I want to rotate players that are going to give me a good performance though. So we
still
got.
He's a Champions League finalist and a 4-time Premier League winner. It's more than a lot of these players can say.
Yeah, you could start Sterling. It's not.
You just have an agenda. You see, people like you make me sick because you pick and choose which players you like and stuff. I support everything Arsenal.
Listen, I support him. I'm just saying.
Doesn't sound like support.
Just pick him, yeah. Start him. Why not? I'm open to it. I don't really have much issues with it. Start him. Let's see. You know, he needs the minutes. It'll be good for him to kind of freshen up, sharpen up a bit. So yeah, look what Foxy's saying. It's like we need to be beating Ipswich. Sorry, but that's what everyone is expecting. So we need to come through, and
they've made it difficult for a lot of big teams this season, though.
Yeah, but I'm not. I think Arsenal have got. I think they've got the answers for them. They should be light work. That's what we need to make out of them.
I hope you're right.
Like, it shouldn't be something to overthink. To be honest, like, we've got PSG. This is bigger stakes are on the line. So I'm not looking at this Ipswich game scratching my head. Arteta, do what you're going to do. Every man that steps out on the pitch should understand that they need to be bringing home 3 points. Like, there's nothing more to talk about when it comes to Ipswich. But with regards to Raheem Sterling, I think this, I'm going to be fair. This is a game that he should start.
You being fair? Wow.
Yeah,
no, really about to see some shit.
This is a game he should start. Why not?
But you just you're being a hypocrite. You see, people, you just saw in the last minute how she contradicts herself. These are the fans that make up rumors about me and Kiwior.
I just rethought, like, is it that bad if he starts? Probably not. Like, if it was my choice, if I was Mikel Arteta, I wouldn't start him. But if Mikel Arteta starts him against Ipswich, is it the worst thing? No.
If he scores, you're going to say sorry?
No.
See, these are the fans. These are the so-called Arsenal fans, people. My last question for you, then, yeah. I kind of skipped over it. Thomas Partey for the first leg against PSG, obviously suspended. Who goes into midfield for you? Yeah, it's a madness.
Jorginho, but that I was like, that's the only thing that was a bit of a dampener from yesterday. Thomas Partey, like, we can't afford to miss you in any of these Champions League games, and you've done that. You were the architect of your own downfall there because you should have known. Yep. Yeah, you should have known what the player was doing. Was it Bellingham or Rudiger? Who was it?
To be honest, I can't even remember. I just remember Marino and Rudiger getting into it and Partey just losing his mind.
Lost it. He lost it. I don't know why he lost it like that, but I was disappointed in him. Is Jorginho injured or is he just?
I think he'll be back, but he is injured. He's fine. If you assume he's injured, who would you go for then? Because then we're really in some trouble still.
Oh my God. I don't want to think about that. I thought that Jorginho had a problem where he fell and his chest was feeling a bit funny. That was the only injury I knew of him having. So I'm thinking by PSG, he should be good. He should be fine. And Jorginho, God willing. Yeah, God willing. I just want to comment on Jorginho as well. This guy, even though we would prefer Partey to start, I believe that Jorginho can start against PSG and put in an amazing performance. Because Jorginho, when he's called upon, if he's having a good game, he's having a blinding game.
Oh, you might know ball. You saved yourself. Go on.
When
This
I
is
went to the
intriguing.
Emirates last week, and watched that terrible game against Brentford, Jorginho was my man of the match. He was the best player on the pitch by far, Jorginho. And we've seen it when he comes in. I think just that level of experience and his intelligence, the vision that he has, that is what edges Jorginho when he's on the pitch to other players that maybe have more legs than him, more pace. You know, that's fine. But his experience, his vision, his intelligence, when he's having a good game, he can boss the midfield as well. So if we have Jorginho, I'm fine with it. If we don't have Jorginho, it's a very big problem. Is Marino going to have to go?
I was thinking that. I'm thinking Odegaard, Marino, Rice back into the sticks. You could put Lewis-Skelly in there. But then Arteta wants an inverted left back. Sorry, that means we'd have to play Zinchenko.
Situation. Huh? It would be a Trossard false nine situation with Marino somewhere in the midfield, and that terrible. I don't want to see that. At all.
I mean, we just need a bigger squad. Like, it's just clear we need a bigger squad, and I hope Berta's on that. Shirley, let people know where they can find you. This is always great being with you. It was nice. I'd say the highlight for me was, you finally listening about Odegaard being a dad and those factors around that, and also hearing you say sorry basically about Martinelli. But let people know they can find you if they want to hear some different opinions.
If they want to hear some what?
Different opinions, unique qualities in terms of opinions.
Well, you can find me on Twitter, even though I don't really use it, but I am there. Irie258, so IRIE258, and then Instagram Shirley Irie.
Yeah, and hopefully in May we've got something to celebrate. But yeah, people, you lot smash the like button, do all of that stuff. I think I'm back online at 2 p.m, 4 p.m, and like 6:15 p.m. So yeah, Shirley, big up yourself for tuning in. Come on, you Gunners. Yeah. Any last words?
No, let's just go on to PSG. That's it.
Lady said it there. Do the outro like the proper YouTubers. I told you, we're trying to make you one.
I'm not a proper YouTuber. You do the outro.
You are. Guys, all you gotta do is say like, subscribe, bye, and all that.
Guys, make sure you like the stream. Always watch DG when he's live, okay? Like I try to. If you get some spare time, do pop in. And for the guys, for my detractors in the chat, we'll be having words, and that's where I want to leave it.
Well, she's threatening you lot. I wouldn't mess with these South London girls, man. They're kind of scary, man. But on that note, like, comment, subscribe. Peace.